Have you ever wondered why some people can master anything they set their mind to, and others get stuck in the same old mediocrity, even after years of trying? Do you see yourself trying to get better over the years, and it doesn't seem to get out of place? Do you see your colleague becoming a specialist in record time, while you're still fighting to make some business work? This internal intrigue has an answer that can shock you and at the same time comfort you. Pay attention to me. This is not talent and not a differentiated IQ. Most people spend years, sometimes decades, practicing in the completely wrong way. They believe that experience alone brings excellence. But this is one of the biggest lies they've told us about learning. So all these people are wrong. I'm going to reveal a truth to you that may sound harsh. You've been fooled into thinking that mastery really works. While you believe you need years to master something, there are people who have discovered how to compress decades of learning in months. And you don't need to be born with talent to become a master at anything. You just need to understand how to train your brain to repeat, refine, and correct certain points intelligently. If you don't change your approach today, you'll continue to be another person who has been practicing for years without ever becoming really excellent. And in this video, you'll find out exactly how to do it. Leonardo da Vinci and Michael Jordan use the same principles that you're about to discover now. Let's start by destroying the biggest illusion about mastery. Most people believe that to become a master of something, you need to be born with natural talent, that there is some genetic characteristic that separates the chosen ones from the rest of humanity. That's the biggest lie they've told us. Before any technique, there is an invisible barrier that determines whether you will master something or not. The story you tell about yourself. Albert Bandura, psychologist and researcher, said that belief in one's own ability, self-efficacy, is the main engine of learning and action. For example, if you believe that you can communicate well and that people want to hear you, you've already come a long way. So continuing, the first step to master anything is to break this limiting self-image. And for that, you need two things: a real belief that you can learn and an almost delirious confidence in the process. Does it sound crazy? Perfect, because it works. Malcolm Gladwell shows that the out-of-the-box people were not born ready. They invested thousands of hours in deliberate practice and used unique opportunities. But this is where the insight that changes everything is. Practice is not what a person does when they become good at something, but what they do to become good at something. There are people who have been driving for 20 years and are still terrible drivers. Others who have been working for decades in the same role and continue to make the same mistakes. Why? Because they are practicing, but they are not practicing in a deliberate way. Deliberate practice is different from common practice. It is when you identify your weaknesses, create specific exercises to correct them, and receive immediate feedback on your performance. While most repeat the same mistakes for years, masters practice intentionally. And that makes all the difference. So let's go even deeper into this so you can get out of this video dominating anything deliberately. You need to break the cycle, because maybe it's time for you to destroy this pattern that always sabotages you mentally even before you start. So here's something that's going to blow your mind. The secret is not to be perfect from the start. It's about hacking your own reward system. Your brain works with dopamine, the reward neurotransmitter. When you feel like you're making progress, it releases more dopamine, leaving you motivated to continue. But calm down, because I know you already know that. Maybe what you don't know is that what keeps people motivated for years of learning is not failure. It's the small victories from the beginning. But sometimes that's a failure, because most people set gigantic goals, and it takes months to see the minimum result. Then they give up before getting there. A master does the opposite. She constantly achieves small victories. Want to learn a new language? Instead of trying to master complex conversations, start by learning the 100 most used words and form your first sentences. Michael Jordan didn't become a legend trying to hit impossible sixes from day one. He started with the basics, corrected small mistakes, and repeated them until he mastered them, celebrating each progress. That's what you achieve when you program your brain to recognize small victories. He gets addicted to learning. Now I'm going to show you the exact system that separates those who master it from those who stay in the mediocrity, which turns ordinary people into masters. It's a cycle of 3 phases that you must repeat every day. Follow these 3 steps: attempt, mistake, documentation. Phase 1. Attempt. High-quality learning. You are not a vacuum cleaner that will consume all the content you see. You will build a learning focused on quality, not quantity. You spend time absorbing quality information and seeking to understand deeply what you are learning. Imagine that you are studying for a big test. You are probably learning something good for your own life. So take this seriously. How to do it right. Take good, applicable, easy to understand notes. These notes should look like a short summary. Turn books into reference books. Mark pages with a text marker. Write notes. Put colorful markers. This way, you can pick up any material and find the information you need quickly. Phase 2. Mistake. Here is what separates masters from eternal beginners. This is where 90% of people fail. You apply what you learned on the same day, even knowing you're going to make a mistake. Non-negotiable rule. Apply what you learned within 24 hours. If you don't apply in 24 hours, it's as if that information evaporates in the air. Did you read about sales techniques? Practice today. Did you study about communication? Test in a conversation in practice. As you are still a beginner, there will come a time when you won't understand anything or don't know what to answer. And that's exactly the point you write down. Phase 3. Documentation. Write down exactly where you made a mistake in the mistake phase. This becomes your treasure map, shows where to focus on the next studies and review exactly the points of pain. So do this. 1. Start the day by learning. 2. Go to the real world and apply what you learned. 3. When you inevitably make a mistake, document it. Why does this work? Because you are alternating between learning and applying, trying to improve a small thing at a time. Continue in this cycle until you reach the level of skill with which you feel satisfied. People who have mastered anything are no longer intelligent. They simply run this cycle more consistently. They are able to develop unique learnings that differentiate them from the rest. Even those who master this approach will inevitably come across a silent obstacle, the plateau, something common for any type of learning. This is normal. Every master has gone through this. The secret is to understand that plateaus are like sore muscles after training. They are signs that you are growing, not stopping. At that time, you need to have the courage to get worse before getting better. Get out of your comfort zone and challenge your limits again. Creators stop innovating because they are afraid of doing something worse than their last job. People are in bad relationships because they prefer to be alone. But to become a master, you need to accept that growing hurts. But there is one thing that few people understand too. You don't need to be the best in the world at all. Many people get stuck in thoughts that only stop their growth. But you will make a difference from now on. Instead of thinking you need to be the best at everything, you will pile up your average skills and create a unique combination that differentiates you. But how does this work? Imagine that you have a notebook of several different vocabularies. You will not look at it and memorize everything at once. You will start slowly. Start with small words gradually. 20, 50, 70, 90, and so on. Speak these vocabularies from day one. This makes learning more practical and less theoretical. But to make it really work, the secret is to follow the consistency and make this learning microsystem. 20 minutes a day, every day. Watch one educational video a day. Establish weekly challenges with practical application. When you start, the combination of 3 or 4 complementary skills, you create an advantage that no one else has. For example, imagine that you are someone who cooks well. Maybe you're not the best chef in the world, but if you know how to cook, understand nutrition, and still know how to set up beautiful dishes, you have a combination that impresses anyone. Few people master this trio, so identify 3 to 4 skills that complement each other in your area. Develop each one to a high average level. The intersection between them is where you become irreplaceable. There is a secret super ability that changes the game, a formula that speeds up your learning even more, and it's more or less like this. 1. Find your leverage points. Gold question. What are the 20% of content that give me 80% of results? Avoid as much content as possible. This only generates frustration, a sense of loss, and absurdly lowers your motivation. 2. Unstructure and select. Break what you want to do into smaller pieces. Instead of trying to learn everything at once, divide what you want to learn into simpler and easier parts to understand. Start with what matters most. Focus first on what will give you quick results. Rule 80 to 20, remember? 3. Set to run. It's no use just watching or writing. Use what you've learned right away. It's applying what you fix what you want to learn. And the last trick that will speed up your learning 10 times to master anything is, if you want to learn faster, start teaching. When explaining something, your brain needs to understand deeply what it's teaching. If you can't explain it in a simple way, it's because you haven't understood it yet. But how could you apply this in practice? Follow the steps. Learn something new? Summarize with your own words. Teach a friend. Write about the topic. Publicly share your journey. And before I finish, I'll leave you the golden rule. Participate in communities. You can start by being an RD. Every day we use neuroscience to transform the lives of ordinary people and increase almost exponentially the chances of someone becoming a master in anything in life. You'll learn from colleagues, exchange ideas, and grow together, because learning is much faster when it's collective, and the connections you create today can open doors for a lifetime. Finally, this is what determines who dominates anything and who only tries. Masterful people don't seek perfection or immediate progress. They daily train their brains in a conscious and systematic way. Mastery is not about talent or who. It's about consistency, immediate application, and courage to continue, even without immediate results. It's not about having special gifts, but about doing the simple thing every day, consciously. The path is clear. The choice now is yours. If this video clarified your mind about how to master anything, tell me in the comments. What is the next skill you will master using these techniques? And what was the biggest insight that caught your attention in this video? Leave it down there because I read all the comments and I love to know how you are applying it in life. See you in the next video.